Edwards and Cartwright, and we'll try it again. Home teams have won every game thus far. This is game 6. Detroit leads it 3 games to 2. Scottie Pippen looks inside for Jordan, posting up. Dumars saves it, but he was on the line. Michael had the disease up in Detroit the other night. He was only 7 of 19 from the floor. Chicago hit only 33%. The amazing thing, Lenny, is that they hit 48% at home, only 37% on the road.
Well, Phil Jackson told us yesterday his team is a lot more confident at home. He knows that they're getting good shots, and they told the coaching staff to keep their heads up because they know that they're going to play their game here.
There's the trap. They get it to Lambeer, gets it back to Isaiah Thomas. 10 count underway. Edwards, now Detroit will go into its half-court offense. Lambeer in the corner. That's a big, big move for Bill Lambeer. In games 3 and 4 here last weekend, he was 1 of 3, 1 of 13. And he had 7 of 13 in game 5 the other night, so he's apparently out of the slump. Cartwright, jump hook. Isaiah Thomas guarded by John Paxson. There's the switch. Now Jordan on Dumars. 2 members of the All-NBA defensive team.
We also had a chance to see Isaiah get into the paint and people come up. And it's no different with Joe Dumars. He gets into the paint. The Bulls' defense is collapsing. They recognize that that's where the Pistons want to go.
John Paxson. Isaiah Thomas goes around the pick, settles for Dumars, who's loose. And 6'4".
Well, the Pistons on offense, their goal is to make Michael Jordan work as hard as he possibly can, and if he gambles, they'll make him pay with Joe Dumars.
Michael Jordan played only 39 minutes in Game 5. Here's the jump shot by Jordan. He's got 2 baskets. He sat out 3 minutes of Game 4, and it was interesting to hear Phil Jackson talk about that. He sat down at his own request. Michael said, or Jackson said, when Michael asked to be taken out of the game, I knew he was depleted. Here's another offensive foul.
Well, certainly Michael Jordan's fatigue comes from having to guard Joe Dumars. And you recognize here in an isolation, the Pistons want Michael Jordan to run by as many picks as he can. You saw 2 right there. Over the course of the game, it has a tendency to take a lot out of you, much like a boxer getting body shots. Ultimately, it wears him down.
Grant passes on Jordan, now cuts inside. The ball tipped out of bounds by Bill Lambeer. It'll be Chicago's inbound. 8-4, 9:47 to go. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Scottie Pippen, 5 for 20 in Game 5. 0 for 1 in Game 6. Horace Grant for 2.
Well, that's the other job that the Bulls want to do. And that's on the offensive board. They did a great job in Game 4 and also in the last game. They just couldn't put him back in.
James Edwards, who's been a bit of a slump, he broke out of it to a degree in Game 5, but hadn't played that well in the series. He gets an early 2. Jordan. Got the look in his eye.
And then he's got the bounce in his step, too.
47 points here in Game 3, 42 points here in Game 4. Chicago won the vote. Foul underneath. James Edwards will go to the free throw line, where he has been suffering from anemia. He has really had problems with the free throw line. Bill Cartwright picks up the foul.
Well, certainly Bill Cartwright and the rest of the Bulls team recognize how much work Michael Jordan has to do defensively. Cartwright gets caught helping out on Joe Dumars, trying to help Michael Jordan. And an alert pass to James Edwards right there. That's going to keep Bill Cartwright a little more honest.
This has really been an enigma for James Edwards. A 60% free throw shooter throughout the regular season and early in the playoffs. 7 of 23 now in this series.
Well, certainly it's all mental. He's got the same form, the same rhythm, but he just doesn't believe it's going to go down.
12-7. 8 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Quarter number 1. Grant. James Edwards grabs it. Here come the Pistons. Isaiah Thomas, pick from Dennis Rodman, who's playing with a special shoe tonight. We'll develop that story in a moment. Rodman suffering from a very sore ankle, injured in Game 4. Dumars and Jordan. Lambier. He's now 1 for 2, and Jordan with a rebound. Cartwright. Good defensive job by James Edwards of the Pistons. Thomas, it's a 3-on-2. Isaiah Thomas, Paxson. They'll reset.
Well, this is a Piston pace. They'll explore the run if they have an opportunity, but when they get in a half-court set, they're known for precise execution.
Bill Cartwright, his second. Shooting foul, so the Pistons will take it out of bounds. Second team foul. Will Perdue will give Bill Cartwright an early rest.
Well, in our conversations with Phil Jackson yesterday, he was happy with the defense his team played in Game 5, but he was worried because James Edwards did get off a little bit. He had 13 points last game, a bit more than he had been scoring, and now you see it's paid dividends for the Pistons going to him.
Isaiah Thomas blocked by Horace Grant. Dumars. Too strong. Paxson to Pippen. Detroit ball.
Speaking of too strong, that pass might have had too much velocity on it, particularly as fast as Horace Grant was moving. But on the defensive end, the Bulls seem to have an answer for that Isaiah Thomas penetration that we spoke about at the top of the telecast.
Now it's Jordan and Dumars again. They find Perdue and Edwards in a wrestling match. That'll be the third team foul, first on Will Perdue.
Well, certainly that's a direct result of the anticipation of physical play here. They're not going to let guys, particularly inside, start pushing and shoving, and the officials aren't going to let the game get away from them.
There's a steal by Michael Jordan, 12-7 at the 7-minute mark. And away from the ball. Garrison calls a flying elbow. Foul was on
Very long time, so he should know how to kind of cut corners here, develop all the angles on this floor.
Just under 7 minutes to go. Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Dumars rather, and he comes to his left. There's Thomas cutting with Paxson following him. James Edwards.
That time defensively, interesting matchup. Michael Jordan playing Bill Lambier down on the post as Scottie Pippen and John Paxson were playing outside.
Perdue.
Any scoring from Will Perdue is gravy for the Bulls. He's there to play some defense and try to contain the big guys.
Edwards again. Perdue mistimed his leap, and Dennis Rodman chases down the loose ball. Back to Lambier. Isaiah Thomas. That's for 2. Isaiah, who had 2 big games in defeats here. Interesting. He's averaged 31 points in the 2 losses and only 8 points a game in the 3 wins.
And it was his penetration that did it. But defensively, he's been there.
Rodman with another rebound. Boy, what a big game he had in Game 4. 20 and 20. 20 points and 20 rebounds. Thomas, that's for 3. Grant out-hustles Rodman for the rebound. Nice speed pass. Back to Paxson from Grant. Got it. There's another bonus for them, Lenny. John Paxson's been only hitting 35%.
And certainly, Bulls exhibited patience there. A nice inside-outside game. Waited for the double team and hit the open man.
There's the pick set by James Edwards. Michael Jordan fights through it. That's off the mark.
You got James Edwards fading on that shot. It's not the type of shot he wants in the post.
Michael Jordan operating out top of the key. Grant and Lambier, and they called it on Lambier.
The beginning of the physical play we talked about inside the lane. This is just good hard play by two postmen trying to establish position. And certainly that was an act. No, he does a good job of drawing offensive fouls, but he's not too good at masking them sometimes.
You teach him anything?
It'll take me a while.
Here's Purdue. No. Dip no good. Rodman gets the rebound.
Bill Lambert's from the method acting school.
Stanislavski, huh? Edwards again misfiring. Boy, he's been having an offensive horror show. Lambert gets in the way of that pass. It might have been just a touch too cute.
Excellent job, though, of Lambert getting back.
Dumars. Purdue, good position. Lambert hauls down the rebound.
Over the backboard, ball out on the side.
Ball went over the backboard. Now Vinnie Johnson's going to enter the game. Boy, if there's been a decided difference between these two teams, here's where it's come. Johnson and Sally getting ready to come in. The bench has been overwhelmingly in favor, bench play in favor of Detroit.
Well, certainly their guys are expected to come in and give an offensive lift, particularly, and John Sally on the defensive end.
Michael Jordan called for the foul. John Sally will come in.
Personal foul, Michael Jordan, his first, the team's fourth.
Johnson's going to wait while Dumars shoots.
Well, Vern, certainly both teams, prior to this last possession by the Pistons, were kind of toying with the crowd a bit. The Bulls came down and put up a couple of quick shots from long range, hoping to get the crowd into it, get them on their feet. And on the other end, the Pistons come down, and they ran out of their offense just a bit, putting up a quick shot, trying to quiet this crowd down. They recognize that the crowd is an important factor here as far as emotion.
Joe Dumars gets the vote. And that cuts the lead to 3, 16-13. Chicago jumped out to a quick 10-4 edge in the first 2.5 minutes. They've not trailed since. Horace Grant. Nice move. Short of the shot. Sally with a rebound and the loose ball foul.
And you're right, it was an excellent move on the baseline. Horace Grant just didn't finish it strongly. He actually had another step to the basket for the dunk, but he pulled up. And that's because he recognized the shot blocking ability of a John Sally.
That's going to put the Pistons in the penalty, or Chicago in the penalty, so the Pistons will shoot. And John Sally will go to the line. Of course, if Chicago wins tonight, Game 7 Sunday afternoon on CBS from the Palace at Auburn Hills, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. If Detroit wins tonight, this series is over, and the NBA Finals begin on CBS next Tuesday. And it would be between Detroit and Portland if Detroit wins tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
And you think about the fouls, the compounding of an error by Horace Grant. Coming into this game, Detroit had gone to the line 21 times more than the Bulls, and that's where they have an advantage. They're getting some easy points.
Scottie Pippen tries to take it to the basket. Now Will Purdue traveled.
Detroit.
That's the fourth Chicago turnover, despite the fact that they lost Game 5 in Auburn Hills on Wednesday night. They committed only 9 turnovers in that game. They were just absolutely killed by poor shooting, 33%. And a chance now for the Pistons to take the lead. Sally, Thomas, Paxson, there's the double team. Edwards gets it.
Well, that time he faded to the position he wanted. He shoots a fadeaway jumper, but on some of them, he's kind of drifting off one side or the other. That's not James Edwards.
Pistons back on top by 1. Grant, short, gets the follow, puts it in.
And there he took that extra step he needed to get him to the basket. He didn't settle for the one bounce and then going straight up. That's what you have to do when you attack the basket. Take as much real estate as you possibly can.
Isaiah Thomas, Purdue, and Edwards. They're going to get James Edwards this time.
Offensive foul, Detroit. James Edwards, his second.
That's the second foul on James Edwards. Time has been called.
Back and stabilizing ankles so much that many times you wind up injuring your knee when there's a twist or something. So you got to be very careful of that.
Stacey King has come off the bench now. He's been struggling with points, rebounds, and has seen reduced minutes here recently. Stacey King, the rookie out of Oklahoma. And now another chance. Detroit with 29 assists in winning Game 5. They have averaged 23 assists per game in their 3 victories and only 17 assists in the 2 losses, something that Chuck Daly thinks is very significant. Comes right in the hands of Stacey King. So we'll keep our eye on the number of assists throughout the night. Here's Paxson. Lambier with good reaction.
Paxson got into no man's land that time and really had no place to go with the ball.
Johnson, Rodman, Sally, Lambier, and Thomas on the floor for Detroit. Jordan stays in the ballgame.
3-second violation, Detroit.
3-second violation on Dennis Rodman.
Well, it was quite a battle inside with John Paxson attempting to block out Dennis Rodman in case of a shot. And Dennis Rodman, when he's in there, he takes no prisoners, as John Paxson can attest to at this point.
B.J. Armstrong comes into the lineup now, and John Paxson will get a rest period for the Chicago Bulls. So Chicago with Armstrong, Jordan, Pippen, King, and Horace Grant.
Offensively, B.J. Armstrong is given plenty of room by Isaiah Thomas. We can see it there. He hasn't been shooting very well, but he needs to pick up his offensive game a bit and try to occupy Isaiah.
Pippen for 3.
And then again, if Scottie Pippen's going to score for him, hey.
Scottie Pippen now 6 of 18 in this series from 3-point range. And it's a 4-point Chicago lead. Lambier doesn't like to go to the basket, but how about that play? Fadeaway jumper after he makes the turn in. And something equally rare, he's going to go to the free throw line. He has averaged 1 free throw attempt per game in the playoffs. Been there 13 times.
Well, many times you'd like to blame plays like this on being a first-year player, but you learn when you first start playing basketball, never to foul a jump shooter. And B.J. Armstrong stepped in and just flashed away. You don't want to give this team easy opportunities, especially a guy like Lambier, who's so proficient from the line. Those points, those easy points add up.
And that really negates the emotional impact of the Pippen three-pointer. Here's Armstrong, drives the lane, bumps into Lambier, and short arms the shot. 21-20, a chance for Detroit to reclaim the lead. Largest lead in the ballgame has been 6. It's a 1-point Chicago edge right now. Johnson, Sally. Denny Johnson with the rebound. Foul is called on Dennis Rodman.
Well, again, we see more battling inside. Rodman with the right hand. More of a love tap than anything else. Rodman tried to keep his balance, but it was called for the foul. A little bit of hand checking.
Mark Aguirre comes off the bench now for Chicago, or for Detroit rather. A big night in Game 5. 19 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Way outside at the end of the buzzer.
The first quarter of play, the Chicago
4 of 12 in the last 9 minutes of the first quarter, but they still wound up with a decent average. 21-20. Isaiah Thomas, Vinnie Johnson, Sally Lambier, and Mark Aguirre. Here's Johnson. Rejected by Stacey King right into the hands of Mark Aguirre. No basket. Offensive foul.
Aguirre, having trouble shedding his defender, decided to bump him off.
At the other end, B.J. Armstrong. Now Horace Grant underneath. And Stacey King will go to the line. Dennis Rodman still testing that sore left ankle. That's a trampoline, a small trampoline that he's working on.
And what that does is allows him seemingly to gain more flexibility with it. You see him going side to side. You get a sprained ankle and it stiffens up. A lot of the blood and everything coagulates in there, and that's where you get the swelling and the stiffness. But he's trying certainly to keep it loose. That whole leg has to be loose because you risk injury to other parts of it.
King gets two. Those are the first and second free throw opportunities for Chicago in the game. And they take a three-point lead at 23-20. Any defensive adjustments now that Phil Jackson makes when he's got these three subs on the bench for Detroit?
Well, certainly they have to get more active. They start overplaying a lot more, getting their hands active. That's what's going to create offensive momentum for them. Since Michael's out of the game, it's difficult for them to score.
Let's pass. Pippen.
But when you can get turnovers and get down the floor quickly, that's the best way to score.
Well, it was certainly the aggressive defense, in addition to Jordan's scoring, that led the way to victories in 3 and 4 here for Chicago. Craig Hodges, by the way, is in the ball game, and Michael Jordan getting his normal rest at the start of the second quarter. Armstrong, nice adjustment. The shot too strong.
I was ready to go down the side for the layup. That was so high. Armstrong with a nice job of saving it to get it down.
Back it goes to Lambier. Hodges on Lambier. Pippen on Johnson with a mismatch. Loose ball foul.
Well, certainly this is the way they want to play. They want to get Detroit out of their patterns because without Michael Jordan on the floor, Scottie Pippen is really the only offensive threat. And anything you can get without having to come down and set up and look for a shot, if you're the Bulls, you're going to be happy.
Armstrong, Hodges, King, Pippen, and Grant. So 2 starters on the floor for Chicago. Craig Hodges, who's really been cold, hasn't rattled out. He's been a horrible shooting slump for the Bulls. Rebounds, 12-11. Detroit, 5-point edge, Chicago. Mark Aguirre.
Conversely, the Pistons come off with some guys who can light it up in Aguirre and in Vinnie Johnson, so they don't lose an awful lot when they bring their subs in offensively. It's on defense that they may have some weaknesses.
Stacey King, Lambier, Chicago ball. So 9 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Block shots now, 2 for Chicago and 1 for Detroit. The lead during the timeout, Lambier had just knocked the ball out of bounds. So Bulls will have to hustle. Pippen with an off-balance shot. Horace Grant chases it down. Hodges for 3. Going to give Craig Hodges a huge lift. That's only the 5th three-pointer he's hit in this series after hitting 48% from the field three-point range for the season. He was at 20% in this series. A 6-point Chicago lead. And they have accomplished an extension of their lead now while Michael Jordan rests. Pippen for 2 more. The lead is 8. Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, Sally, Aguirre, and Lambier for Detroit. Hodges and Armstrong in the backcourt, along with King, Pippen, and Horace Grant for Chicago.
When you look at Detroit in their half-court offense against the pressure, they don't have the confidence to attack it like you should. They back it up, and then they don't get a good shot.
King for few more.
Because they always give up a shot when you're pressing full court. Instead, they're backing it up, and they're playing a little bit complacently. The Bulls create turnovers, and they've gone down and scored.
McGuire with Horace Grant. Here's Lambier. He rims out. B.J. Armstrong pushes it up. Back to Grant. Scottie Pippen. Foul will be called on John Sally. This is the Chicago bench that had been shooting very poorly. They had been giving Phil Jackson only 15 points in 65 minutes per game in this series. And now Michael Jordan comes back in just a moment, with the bench having increased this lead by 9 points. 10.
Well, with Michael Jordan coming in the game, you have to wonder, are the Bulls going to maintain that defensive intensity in their pressure? And also on the offensive end, now that they've established the diversity of that team with Michael Jordan back in the game, are they can continue to move the ball around and hit the open man, or just go to Michael?
Armstrong knocks it out of bounds. Detroit to inbound.
Well, that answers the question as far as the defensive intensity.
There's the trap in the backcourt. Full court pressure applied now. Sally. 3-on-2. Throws it away. That's 8 turnovers for the Pistons.
Now, that's a perfect example of attacking it, a 3-on-2. But John Sally's not the guy you want in the middle. You need a ball handler there.
Pippen. Lambier quiets the crowd momentarily. A 12-point edge. Isaiah Thomas.
Back to basics for the Pistons. They know Isaiah's penetration is going to pay dividends. He's got to do it more.
On the other end, it's Armstrong's shot that won't fall. Pistons with a rebound. Dumars has Mark Aguirre on the right side. Air ball for 3. Jordan was tripped inadvertently. Darryl Garrettson saw the trip and called the foul.
Coming down court from behind, it's John Sally.
Second foul on John Sally. Dennis Rodman back in. Technical foul.
Chuck Daly has got to be concerned right now. He's got the world champions losing their composure. They mentioned that this building is something that they also have to fight against, but they also deny that they'd be intimidated. But the mere mention of the building and the fact that it plays such a big part, to me, points up a concern that the Pistons have with playing here.
Technical was called on Vinnie Johnson. B.J. Armstrong on the bench, where Vinnie Johnson was sitting. B.J. Armstrong out. Now Pippen. Paxson is back in. 35-24, 6:22 to go. Cartwright has also come back on now for Chicago. Stacey King. Cartwright kicks it back out.
And the fans are giving Bill Cartwright a standing ovation. They appreciate that type of effort. That's something that they've been criticizing Bill about throughout this series.
3-second violation called against Cartwright.
And he give it, and he takes it away.
5:57 to go in the first half of play. A must-win game for the Bulls. They lose, they're out. If there's a Game 7 in Detroit, we'll have it for you Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Dennis Rodman, nice feed.
Well, definitely threaded the needle on that one.
35 35-26 now. Well, the story of the first half thus far, the bench play by Chicago. The Bulls were up by 1 at the end of one. Jordan took a rest, and the Bulls increased it to a double-digit lead with subs on the floor. Now Cartwright will shoot, and James Edwards picks up another foul. That's 3 on him. And quickly, Chuck Daly makes a move.
Well, James Edwards is having trouble with Bill Cartwright, not only finding him when the ball goes off the backboard, but when Cartwright turns and faces him, James Edwards not known to get down in a defensive stance and play a guy, but he must do that because that's when your center of gravity is lower. You move laterally a lot better. He's standing straight up and Cartwright's putting it on the floor.
Cartwright has seen that series average at 7.4 points against Detroit. His number of points have declined sequentially, almost 10 points per game against Milwaukee, 8 points against Philadelphia. Numbers are lower than that against Detroit. Here's Dumars. Lambier.
That's what you have to do. Joe Dumars finally gets the ball into the middle. A ball handler. The first pass gets past the wave of defenders. Now you got a 3-on-1, 3-on-2.
Cartwright looks for help. Finds it in the first row.
The Pistons right now have picked up their defensive intensity a bit, overplaying the people on the wings. That's where Cartwright was going, and he and Paxson had a miscommunication, but it was because of the Detroit Pistons' defensive intensity.
Lambier.
Chicago.
And Phil Jackson, he was a prancer before he got the ankle injury. Really tender now. 4:30 to go, first half, 36-30. Chicago up by 6. They led by as many as 12. Let's call for the foul.
Well, certainly you look at the Bulls in their half-court set now. This quarter, they've shot only 4 of 11. Most of those points coming in the pressure. The half-court offense being stalled a bit. But this man right here stabilizes the half-court offense, usually by putting the ball in his hands. Detroit, on the other hand, is 5 of 12. They made 5 of their last 6. So they're starting to click, and that means that they're attacking that pressure and getting the advantage points that they need.
Thomas back to Rodman. Good no call?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a situation, one pass, Isaiah beats the first wave, and it's another 3-on-2 break. The Bulls can't afford to give up easy baskets like that. They're going to have to find another way to defend.
Well, those of you who have followed the NBA on CBS throughout the last month, here's Pippen. Know how much of a home court advantage has been prevalent this year, more so than in any year since 1964. As a matter of fact, among the 3 remaining teams, Chicago, Detroit, and Portland, none has lost at home yet. 24 games won among the 3 teams. There's Thomas. Dumars. And if Chicago can win at home tonight, there will be a Game 7 on Sunday, and we will have it for you at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Paxson. That'll help.
Big shot. Lifts the confidence of the Bulls. Defensively now, they feel they have to get after it. They can't allow Detroit to come out here and execute as well as they did on the last possession. Got to throw them out of their rhythm, play the passing lane. You see Jordan on Dumars doing that.
Isaiah Thomas, long rebound. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. Chicago 3 of 5 on 3-point plays. Traveling call.
Michael won't argue. He knows he took a little hop skip on that particular play, coming to a jump stop.
Funny watching Chuck Daly talking with him last night about the effect of this arena, Chicago Stadium. Asked him what it reminded him of, he said, any ancient ACC gymnasium you want to think of. And the one at Duke comes to mind first.
The only difference is the fans here aren't as creative as those Duke students.
That's right. Bill Jackson.
They just give you the old "you stink" when you're the opposing team.
16 games in a row before these fans have been won by the Chicago Bulls. 2:31 to go before halftime. There's the cut by Thomas. From the corner. 0 for 5 on three-point tries now for Detroit. There's zip for 5. Dumars. They're going to give this to Michael Jordan. That's his second. Joe Dumars, the quiet young man who was the MVP of last year's NBA Finals with a 27-point average. And again this season has elevated his play. He's already playing at a lofty standard. He leads his team in scoring in this series, averaging 22 points per game. A 4-point edge. Oh, good defense. King gets it back to the Bulls. Off the glass and in. And Pippen has 11.
He gives Stacey King a lot of credit for his poise in the 3-second area, going down for the loose ball, and then making the play. Not a rookie anymore.
Sally. No. Rodman. Got it.
That's the first time in a while we've seen Dennis Rodman pump that fist at #1 in the air.
Lambeer, 2-on-1. Pippen back. Rodman. Count the basket, send Dennis Rodman to the free throw line.
Personal foul, Michael Jordan, his third.
Well, people think that Detroit is not a running team. Certainly they don't look to pull the ball out of the basket and go, but when they get opportunities, they're taking off. And you see Dennis Rodman taking Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan looked as though he was just going to give up the layup, but calls for the foul.
22nd timeout, Detroit.
22nd timeout call because Rodman's ankle is really paining him right now. That was Michael Jordan's third foul.
Here another look at it. Michael Jordan hustling to get back. Puts one hand out.
Oh, man. I'm not sure what was seen. That was called a foul on Michael Jordan. You're being awfully quiet, Mr. Elmore.
I'm cleaning my glasses.
And that's 3 fouls on Jordan, who sits down.
Okay, there, that's better.
Does it look any more like a foul this time?
Well, it's unfortunate in a situation like that you get a foul call on your best player, and that forces him to sit on the bench. I mean, if anything, you want to see him get a hard foul, a foul that counts. You know, those are the things you look back in a close game and think about the lost minutes in situations like that. That could prove to be very big in this next 1 minute and 23 seconds.
There's an extraordinary story unfolding at the free throw line, too. Rodman, who is not known as a good free throw shooter, anything but, has now hit 13 of 16 in this series after a season average of 58% from the line.
Let's see, the guy's a warrior, and he went up to the line in practice. He practiced over the summer.
Taken away by Isaiah Thomas, but it gets on the line. Yeah, he really did work on that one element of his game.
And that's what's important. Some guys just dismiss it and say, I just don't have it. Not Dennis Rodman. He goes after it.
1:05 to go in the first half of play.
Well, we talked about physical play, and we expected it, again, not of the dimension of the hard fouls and taking people down, but the bumping and grinding is attempting to establish position. Playoff basketball.
Dennis Rodman grew up in Dallas, Texas. I think the story is fairly well known around the country. did not play basketball immediately out of high school, stayed out of school for a long time and walked on at Southeast Oklahoma State. And then signed as a second-round draft choice and has become the most valuable defensive player in the NBA. Said he wants to make his full-time home in the tiny town of Bochita, Oklahoma. And a big basket from the corner, Scottie Pippen. Well, he's 5 for 9 now, Len. So that shooting slump he was in apparently broke it.
He certainly blew by Bill Laimbeer on that one, had him standing still and went to the baseline where he's so great from.
Jordan stays on the bench in the final minute. Dumars. Foul, Scottie Pippen.
His second penalty.
Now, as that play was developing, Phil Jackson jumped up and was calling for some type of situation where somebody's holding inside. He was pointing into the lane. Now, I wonder if it's because the defenders can't get to help out on Joe Dumars or not. And that Detroit is preventing his defenders from getting to the help side. But he's talking right now to John Paxson about it.
John Sally's going to get a rest for the final 42 seconds. Chuck Daly will go with his 3 guards, Dumars, Thomas, and Vinnie Johnson. And Dumars now 5 for 5 from the line. The lead is only 1. It had been as many as 12. More significantly, Michael Jordan with 9 points and 3 fouls. Pippen for 2. And he's been a real spark plug here for Chicago in the first half. 15 on the shot clock, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Skip pass underneath. Tipped. Chicago.
It began without an alert Bill Cartwright in the passing lane, but some other alert players covered up for him.
Halftime. And that's the end of the half with
And you see, with that possession, Scottie Pippen clapped his hands. He wanted to go. But the Bulls again slowed it down. They had an advantage, but they didn't recognize it. They've got to recognize the advantages that they have to get the easy baskets. They're having difficulty scoring out of their half-court sets.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Second time down that they've been frustrated offensively.
And certainly Michael Jordan again trapped way outside.
This time the block by Horace Grant on the Isaiah Thomas shot. 3-on-1. Foul on Laimbeer.
Those are the baskets that the Bulls need desperately. And they have the opportunities. That time, Michael Jordan looked up the floor this time and recognized Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen will shoot 2.
And Vern, the other thing about it is Laimbeer was the only one back defensively. That means that the Pistons are sending an awful lot of people to the offensive board, and they're not getting the correct type of floor balance that they need when the ball comes off the board.
Second foul on Laimbeer. Pippen converts both free throws, 49-44. 10 of 11 from the line now for Chicago. That's for 2, Isaiah Thomas. Dumars, I beg your pardon. Detroit will inbound.
And you have to wonder now, maybe it's too quick a shot. Cartwright did have a one-on-one situation, but they really didn't have too many people covering the board.
Now, Phil Jackson said that was one of their problems on the road in Detroit. They were impatient with their shots. Didn't expect that tonight. There's a switch. Grant. Skip pass over to Dumars. And the rotation leaves Scottie Pippen on Dumars. Nice adjustment of the ball. What a shot. Slight Chicago edge. Rodman still playing with the gimpy ankle. Cartwright. Foul on Lambier.
Detroit personal foul. Bill Lambier. His third, the team's second. Will Cartwright shoots.
Cartwright 1 of 2 from the line. He has the only Chicago miss for the evening. James Edwards has 3 fouls, getting the rest. And Lambier, of course, now has 3. So Jordan with 3 for Chicago. Edwards and Lambier with 3 each for Detroit. The pressure applied now by the Bulls. Dumars. Rodman, touch pass. John Sally, no. Good defense in the lane.
Loose ball fouls.
Another sellout crowd on hand at Chicago Stadium in Chicago, the Madhouse on Madison Avenue. The Bulls hang on to a 3-point edge. They were up by 1 at the end of the first quarter, led by 3 at halftime. It had been a 12-point margin at 34-22 midway through quarter number 2. Detroit shaved that to 3. And here's Dumars with another basket that cuts it down to 1. Dumars with 17 points.
The Pistons are back to their game plan, making Jordan work.
Well, in that mano-a-mano, Dumars has 17. Jordan now has 11. The Pistons with 5 more shots than the Bulls in quarter number 3. Thomas passes on the 3. Saved by Grant. Pippen. Rodman goes down. Pippen shoots. Long rebound. Cartwright.
Now, we've mentioned it before earlier in the series in the first game. That's not a good play to flop like that. You take yourself out of the defense.
No basket. And an ankle injury for John Paxson.
Detroit personal foul by Cam Thomas.
Remember, he's been playing on a sore ankle.
Third. In the timeout, Chicago.
See what happened. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, did it buckle. Hodges is checked in Paxson's place, so it's Hodges and Jordan in the backcourt. Pippen, Cartwright, and Grant up front. Dumars, Rodman, Sally. Here's Cartwright. Difficult shot. Lambier with a rebound. Taps it to Rodman, and here comes Detroit.
Cartwright's got to work at getting one more step to the basket. He had his head and shoulders by Lambier, but he didn't finish it.
As you can see, Jordan has been held in check offensively. Back to Thomas, quickly to Lambier. Nice pump fake by Lambier. But the shot doesn't fall, and Cartwright clears the rebound. Jordan and Dumars spread the court. Shot short. Jordan gets his own rebound.
Hearn, his shot is flat. It looks as though he may not be getting leg into it. A little more arc that time.
Jordan with 13. The lead is 5. 6:50 to go, third quarter. Chicago must win if they're going to extend it to a 7th game. Lambier after the air ball. And if there is a 7th game, we'll have it for you on CBS from Auburn Hills on Sunday at 1. If Detroit wins, they'll face Portland in the finals. Dumars took a hard spill under the basket as the shot was going through.
Well, both teams are now starting to clear out inside, try to establish their domain in the paint. And so you're seeing a lot of guys flying out of there.
Ready, you can run, John.
Isaiah Thomas will bring it up. Craig Hodges guards him. Dumars cuts out front. Double team. Lambier fights for the loose ball. Sally has it go off the brace. And it'll be out of bounds. Chicago on the side. 6:05 to go, quarter number 3. Chuck Daly urging his team on.
He also urged the officials to call a foul. He felt that Dumars and Lambier were fouled on that play.
Dennis Rodman picks up the foul. That's his second. Fourth team foul. Next time they'll shoot. This time Sally on Jordan. Lambier knocks it too hard. It's out of bounds. Chicago will put it in play.
Well, the Bulls right now recognizing one more foul. They're in the penalty, and they will go to the line for every foul thereafter the rest of the quarter. As we take a look at Paxton's ankle packed in ice. But they need the easy opportunity, so they have to force the issue. Take it to the basket and get the foul.
Cartwright. Taken down by John Sally. 5 points Chicago edge. 15 assists for Detroit. And the foul on Billy Cartwright.
Chicago personal foul, Scottie Pippen.
It's Pippen instead. And that's 3 on Scottie Pippen.
John Sally to the line. He'll shoot a pair.
Sally, who has not been scoring that much in this particular series. He had a 16-point average in the first round against Indiana. And he hasn't been in double digits in 6 out of the last 7 games. He's got only 3 in this ball game.
And coming into this game, he'd only had 18 attempts from the field, made 9 of them. But he's not really involved in the offense so much up until now. He's been primarily the shot blocker and rebounder.
Lead is 3, 57-54. 5.5 to go, third quarter. Cartwright knocked Lambier down. He got caught.
And that was more than obvious. I mean, recognizing when you play against a Bill Lambier and any little shove that you use, particularly with your arms, he's going to take a dive. Cartwright's got to be more subtle in that. Use your body, not your arm. Watch him use his left arm and push off. It's a good call by the official. Cartwright has some pretty wide hips. Let's make some contact.
You sound like a guy who's seen Bill Lambier go down a couple of times.
Certainly have, and the thing is, he does an excellent job no matter what you think of him.
Nearing the 5-minute mark, third quarter, 57-54. Dumars. Nope. Rebound no good. Jordan. Rodman, I think, with the foul.
Pistons personal foul, Dennis Rodman.
3 on Rodman.
Penalty.
3 on Lambier. 3 on James Edwards. Problems for Chuck Daly, perhaps. No move toward the bench, and Michael Jordan will shoot.
Certainly Chuck Daly has me thinking a little bit ahead if this trend continues to develop, where his team isn't covering the offensive boards as he thought they would, and on the other end, they're in foul trouble as far as from the team standpoint. He's got to start thinking of maybe extending his defense a little bit more, try to throw the Bulls out of their patterns, because now they want to attack the basket out of their half court.
Lead is back at 5, 59-54. Game 6 Eastern Conference Finals from Chicago Stadium. Vern Lundquist, Manel Ward, Leslie Visser, along with Pat O'Brien. Detroit up 3 games to 2. Dumars dishes to Rodman, who's too strong with a short shot. And Craig Hodges has it for Chicago. Dumars for Detroit. Isolation play. There's the double. Back to Lambier for three. Horace Grant with another rebound. That's 10 rebounds for Horace Grant. He's right at his per-game average in the series. Jordan. Fade away.
Think it might be time to settle the team down. If you're Chuck Daly, you want, again, in the half-court set, you're getting people into the lane, but they're not converting the shots, or on the outside, shooters converting the dishes.
Thomas with a pump fake. Shot is short. Lambier.
Seething. Well, we had a chance to see Chuck Daly come behind him and pull him off the court. But Isaiah Thomas with the double clutch, he really didn't have to do that. And you see Lambier attempting to clear out and grab the ball at the same time.
Does he have an argument?
There was some contact made in there. And whether or not it was a foul or it was part of the play that's been continuing on both ends remains to be seen in the mind of the official.
Vinnie Johnson has replaced Isaiah Thomas. So Johnson and Dumars, Sally, James Edwards back in with 3 fouls, and Dennis Rodman and Stacey King to shoot 1 more. Lead is 9. It was 3 at the half.
Look at the top of your screen. Cartwright and Edwards battling down in the post.
Baseline jumper off the glass. But a foul called on the play.
Although that foul by Bill Cartwright was against the offensive player with the ball, nevertheless, when you take Lambier's foul and this one and put them together, you see the officials pulling the reins in a little bit more as far as the physical play is concerned, the bumping and the pushing.
Now again, that inexplicable problem for James Edwards. He does manage to convert this free throw, but he has had serious problems. Now Will Perdue will come in. We've not seen Ed Neely tonight. And Neely has been averaging about 20 points per 20 minutes per game in this series.
I guarantee if the bumping and the grinding still continues, that Ed Neely will be in sort of to stabilize that inside play for the Bulls.
Nearing the 3-minute mark, 3rd quarter. 3-point Chicago halftime lead. They got it as high as 7 in this quarter. Michael Jordan as high as 9, and that's where it is right now. They equal their largest lead of this half. Largest lead of the game was 12 at 34-22.
Detroit seems to be a little confused as to which play they're going to run. A lot of congestion.
Timeout, Detroit. Chicago personal foul. Scottie Pippen is fourth. The team score.
Foul has been called.
And even Joe Dumars, they've been double-teamed at the top. And rather than move the ball and catch the Bulls in their rotation, they've decided to take it upon themselves to put it on the floor. Consequently, they're playing against 2 defenders and getting some tough shots. That's why they haven't been making many.
Rodman can't convert either one. And the lead stays at 9. Chicago has not trailed since it was 17-16 Detroit. Jordan for 2 more. It's a double-digit lead again for the Chicago Bulls. Will Perdue got caught with an elbow.
Will Perdue is seconds.
Well, in an attempt to be as physical as he possibly can, Will Perdue is trying to make contact. What he's trying to do is keep James Edwards from setting up down low. You always ask the big man to meet the guy up higher, make contact, and slow his progress down to the spot where he wants to set up. Edwards wants to set up on the block, but you can't do it with your elbow. You've got to put your body out there and make contact. Force James Edwards to go around him. That slows him down, and it throws the offensive rhythm out of whack.
1 of 2 for Edwards. Purdue with a rebound. 10-point edge. 67-57, 2:15 to go, third quarter. Nice pass from Purdue to Pippen. Back to Hodges for 3. Chicago ball. Largest lead of the game right now on Craig Hodges' second three-pointer of the ball game.
Detroit personal foul.
Vinnie Johnson gets called for the foul.
Well, Vinnie Johnson was called for the foul in trying to run through the Will Perdue pick. Now, he's arguing probably that he didn't know the pick was there. He wasn't trying to do anything but get through. And really, his argument is with his teammate. And I know it's difficult to communicate out here and be heard, but you've got to get up on everyone setting picks and call it out to help your teammate who's trying to get around it, guarding the guy using the picker.
Saw the sub, B.J. Armstrong, come in, and for Detroit, Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre back on the court. Rodman and Dumars sit down. Purdue gets them both, and the lead is 15 points. Keep in mind, Chicago was up by 19 in Game 4 here. Aguirre with 2. That was on Monday, and the Pistons got it down to within 3 in a tightly played game. Jordan for 3. The lead is 16. John Sally with a partial answer for the Pistons. Final minute, third quarter.
In an attempt to match up with the smaller Bulls lineup, you have James Edwards and John Sally, 2 7-footers out there to try to get the advantage. The problem is this Bulls offensive lineup seems a little bit too quick for them. Michael Jordan's playing small forward right now, and it's essentially a 3-guard offense. So somebody big like Aguirre or someone is going to be stuck with Michael Jordan.
Great shot off the pass from Jordan, no good. Double dribble traveling. And Sally comes up a little gimpy leg.
They see the loose ball, and it certainly was. There was a controlled dribble. In other words, Sally dribbled the ball in an attempt to control it, and then he put it back on the floor.
John Sally will get his leg a rest, and Dennis Rodman comes back in. What an explosion by Chicago. It continues.
And even though they converted, Chicago converted, Detroit's getting away with an illegal defense. They're doubling and tripling Jordan without the ball.
Thomas to Edwards. Purdue doesn't want to take any fouls home with him tonight, so he uses another. And Edwards will go to the line. conclusion of our game, Len Elmore and I will select the Miller Lite Player of the game. In conjunction with the award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 in that player's name to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Lead at 14. It was 3 at halftime.
You see the Bulls are now spreading the floor. 2 players on the offense on each side as Hodges comes off the double to leave Jordan open down the lane.
Works pretty well.
Well, Michael Jordan's waiting for the spread. And as wide as the offensive players for the Bulls are setting up, the Piston defenders have to follow them. They're too slow in getting down the lane in order to close it off.
And the lead is now 17. Thomas's shot at the buzzer, no good. A huge quarter for the Chicago Bulls. That's the end of the period with our score. Chicago 80, Detroit 63. And they outscored Detroit by 14 in quarter number 3. The Chicago Bulls, by the way, have never been to the NBA Finals. 1 year ago tonight, they were ousted by Detroit in Game 6. Armstrong, no. And Detroit went on, of course, and swept Los Angeles 4 games to none. Thomas at the other end.
Well, Isaiah Thomas recognizes someone's got to step up offensively for his team. They haven't been getting good shots, and when they haven't been putting them down. Someone's got to set the trend.
In the 4th period, the game's in Detroit. 11 points. The game's in Chicago, 18 and 19. Well, he just had an 18-point third quarter, so see what he can do here. Held to 3 points in the last game's 4th quarter. Purdue. Hodges. That's 4 on Rodman.
Well, right now, the Bulls have to recognize, and that's all of them, that the good shots will come if they continue to move it. Will Purdue should realize that there's nothing that says he has to shoot that. There was still plenty of time on the clock. Now you go to your bread and butter and continue to move it until you find them.
Joe Dumars back in. Dennis Rodman will sit down. So it's going to be a 3-guard offense now. Scottie Pippen replaces Will of Purdue for Chicago. Johnson, Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, along with Mark Aguirre and James Edwards on the floor for Detroit. Hodges and Armstrong join Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Horace Grant for Chicago.
Well, right now, Horace Grant has to guard James Edwards in the center spot. The Bulls trying to pressure to hide the weakness on defense that they have.
Isaiah Thomas right to the basket.
That's what you do. You get by the way of the defenders and you take it to the basket. The Bulls have to disguise the fact that there's a mismatch. Edwards on Grant.
Greg Hodges. He's got 11 points. Thomas back to Vinnie Johnson, who sets for the 3. Aguirre with the rebound. No basket. 3-second violation.
And that's a frustrated James Edwards. He knows he has an advantage. Mark Aguirre has an advantage when they go inside. Chuck Daly's got to figure out a way to get his team to recognize these things and not to rush shots. There's still plenty of time.
Jordan. Well, he had 9 at the half. He's got 29 now. taken away.
And when you recognize the advantage, the guy has to do something with it.
Thomas gets it back. Aguirre for 2. Aguirre has 6 points. Pippen. On the shot clock. Chicago will inbound. Time has been called. 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Jordan. Dumars for Detroit. Pistons shot 6 from 24 in the third quarter from the field. Chicago, meanwhile, 10 of 19 in quarter number 3. What a save by Jordan. Pippen, welcome to the broadcast, Scotty. I was hoping he'd head for you instead of me.
I thought you were going to take a charge on that one. But I tell you, it began with excellent defense by the Bulls, forcing a long shot by James Edwards. I think these guys want this game.
And at the other end, a foul called on James Edwards, his 5th. Under 9 minutes remaining. Armstrong.
Well, even though he hasn't converted, it's important that he continues to take the open ones. That way the defense has to play him honest, and I'm talking about B.J. Armstrong.
And here comes Isaiah Thomas to join us. It's getting busy over here.
Armstrong battling all the way. The rookie against the veteran doing a nice job of fronting.
Back to play now with 8:25 remaining in the ballgame. 85-69 Chicago. Michael Jordan with 18 third quarter points. And that loose ball picked up by Scottie Pippen. Right into the arms of Vinnie Johnson.
Well, you get up in the air as Scottie Pippen did. You're always forced to do something, and usually it's something bad. Good foul there. It wasn't a breakaway foul because there was another offensive player ahead of him.
Edwards. Quickly in the corner, Dumars.
Joe Dumars.
85-71. If there's a game 7, and that will happen if Chicago holds on to this lead, it'll be Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The Palace at Auburn Hills. Pippen has the shot rejected, but gets it back.
Look how the floor is spread. Ideal for a drive.
No call.
And Grant doesn't see Hodges underneath.
Didn't need to.
It all works out when you do the right thing.
Lead back to 16. A 3-point ball game at the half. Dumars.
Joe Dumars.
He's got 21. Isaiah Thomas knocks it out of bounds.
Chicago.
And time has been called. Michael Jordan has 29. 20 of them in this half.
See number 14, Craig Hodges in the middle, screaming for the ball, but Scottie Pippen appears out of nowhere. And you create your own luck many times, and that was just pure hustle and heads-up play by both Grant and Pippen.
Look at Chicago from the perimeter, 19 of 33.
I was going to give Hodges a little credit on that, too, because he was in the right place at the right time. Didn't have a chance to be a hero, though.
Craig Hodges has been one of the stories of the game. He is, or did come on in place of John Paxson. Still on the court now, and Hodges with 2 3-pointers already in the ball game. And now they're warning Vinnie Johnson to get back. Intercepted by Isaiah Thomas. 6:40 remaining in the ball game.
Chicago personal foul. Craig Hodges is
Hodges
first.
with the foul.
The team
Bulls
second.
have to be careful now not to get careless with passes, to take all the easy situations they can. Make the easy passes. Play some fundamental basketball rather than try to do the hard, spectacular things. They have the lead. Detroit has to come to them.
That's the first free throw of the night for Isaiah Thomas.
Which is surprising because he has penetrated to the hoop numerous occasions. Gotten some wide open layups. The Bulls must be doing a nice job of not putting him on the line and allowing those baskets. But now comes the time when you have to make sure you seal those off, make them work on the offensive end.
Scottie Pippen. Hodges for 3.
And when Phil Jackson talked about confidence and shooting at home, I'm sure that's the guy he had in mind.
Isaiah Thomas at the other end. Vinnie Johnson can't get it to fall. Jordan with the rebound. Chicago is 6 of 9 from three-point range. Vinnie Johnson with the foul. That's his third. Chuck Daly with the scowl. His 48.
Well, certainly Michael Jordan having his hands on the ball increases the chances of something good happening for the Bulls. And Vinnie Johnson's foul was ill-advised.
Hodges with an ill-advised pass. Dumars, Isaiah Thomas. Puts it up left-handed and arches it in nicely.
And with that type of play, you wonder why he had such a tough time in the beginning of this series in putting points on the board. He gets to the lane almost at will.
Hodges, 2. And Detroit at the other end. Johnson tipped away by Jordan, out of bounds. Detroit's ball. Well, every time in the playoffs Detroit has allowed its opposition to score 100 points, they've lost. Right now, Chicago has 90 with 5:25 remaining. Mark Aguirre gets 2. Technical foul called on Horace Grant.
Unbelievable.
Technical foul. Horace Grant.
Horace Grant has got to realize this game is not over. You've got to keep your emotions in check, particularly when you have the advantage. You can't give the world champions anything.
Well, they could cut the lead to 10 with this free throw.
They look like a team that's just dodged a bullet aimed right at their heart, because that would have been a pin in somewhat of their balloon of emotion there to cut it to down to 10.
Hodges. And the crowd, about to be taken out of it, gets right back into it.
Edwards didn't know where he was, and he was trying to establish his position. The passer didn't recognize that Edwards didn't took his eye off the ball.
Joe Dumars gets whistled for this foul. Another inadvertent trip.
As the ball comes to you, nice execution there. It was actually a 2-on-2 play, but good basketball. The defender came over too far.
Traveling. Bassett.
Well, you know, that's very important now, because many times people say the reflection of a team is seen in its coach, and vice versa. And if Phil Jackson stays calm, his team will stay fairly calm in the face of this Detroit onslaught.
Double team on Isaiah Thomas. Hodges and Jordan both having at him. Craig Hodges picks up the foul. Jordan has played all of this half with 3 fouls. Had to sit down late in the second quarter with his third. Isaiah Thomas.
Chicago foul. Michael Jordan is fourth. The team.
And having said that, Jordan picks up his fourth team foul, and Thomas will shoot.
Well, that's the Piston game plan right now. The post play isn't effective. A lot of the perimeter shooting is not effective. Isaiah Thomas is now slashing through every opening he possibly can to create something. You've got to back off him just a bit right now and test the jumper again, because you know what he can do when he puts it on the floor and goes in.
Mark Aguirre. That's 3 on Aguirre. Edwards with 5 thus far. Lambeer has not played much at all in this half. Rodman also has 4. Pippen, Cartwright, and Jordan, each with 4 for Chicago.
Well, the 3 big rebounders for Detroit in big foul trouble. You know, especially when they're not hitting offensively. They need those guys to crash the offensive boards. Detroit is not a great offensive team. Those are the things that help them score, getting the offensive boards, the second chance opportunities. And without their big 3 in there, they're finding it very difficult to put it in the basket. That's why Thomas has to keep his hands on the ball and create a lot of things, a lot of opportunities for the other players.
Points, 4 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. The Bulls have been on top in this game since they went on top 18-17 back in the first quarter. And Scottie Pippen picks up his 5th foul.
Now, after Horace Grant got that technical, you saw Michael Jordan run to him and calm him down. He's also got to do the same to Scottie Pippen. You don't want to stop the clock, and you don't want to give easy opportunities again with fouls 30 feet from the basket. You dig in defensively. Again, make them come to you to a certain extent. There's no post player, true post player in there for the Pistons, so you don't have to worry about throwing the ball straight in. This is going to be a perimeter game for Detroit right now.
Well, once again, they cut the lead to 12. They can't get it down to single digits. They've been close on a couple of occasions here in the fourth quarter. Back it goes to Craig Hodges.
Sign of a guy that's got the feeling, no hesitation whatsoever.
And 16 points for Craig Hodges. Aguirre for 3, no. Jordan rebound. And Scottie Pippen will get it back in the hands of Michael Jordan to slow things down and work a bit on the clock.
And certainly that last possession of the Pistons pointed out, no post player, no one even came to the block, and Aguirre just took the perimeter shot.
Gerald Henderson getting ready to make a rare appearance for Detroit. Jordan, no. Behind the back, Dumars to Sally. And again, a 12-point margin, 3:35 to go. If there's a Game 7, and that means if Chicago wins this one Sunday afternoon on CBS, 1 o'clock from the Palace at Auburn Hills. Pointers for Craig Hodges. That equals the number of 3-point baskets he had in the first 5 games. He's been bothered with a back problem since the latter part of the season. and has just exploded at the most opportune time tonight for Chicago.
Again, you get caught up in the emotion of the game, and you're getting yourself set. You get yourself in a rhythm, which Craig Hodges seems to have done, and he's been a big plus, to say the least, offensively.
Bench that Michael Jordan took himself out of the game and is talking with Mark Feil, the trainer, right now on the Bulls bench. Cartwright.
Big rebound. Big rebound.
There's Michael. Pass underneath. For two.
Well, 3 times down now. After a score, Detroit's been able to kick the ball down court. Poor balance by the Bulls. It's both ends of the court that they have to do it on right now.
Timeout, Detroit.
Time has been called. Michael Jordan with ice on his shooting hand, but the Bulls lead.
Well, he attempts to break his fall as he kind of trips over Joe Dumars, and watch his right hand right there on the left or the right foot of Isaiah Thomas, bends his fingers back, almost hyperextends them, it seems, and he has to grab it just a bit, his fingers and his wrist.
Well, Michael took himself out of the ball game. 9 points in the first half, 18 in that third quarter explosion.
But what's important about that and what's key is that it's his right wrist. And if there's any swelling or problem with it, it's going to affect him overnight. So we'll have to watch the status of him going into a Game 7 if it's possible.
B.J. Armstrong. Has come on the floor now for the Detroit Pistons. Bedford, Sally, Henderson, Vinnie Johnson, and Mark Aguirre. And we are 2 minutes and 5 seconds away from Game 7. Johnson, no. Aguirre, no again. Offensive foul.
Well, the Pistons have put in all their scorers, 3-point range guys, except for Bedford and Sally. And off the boards, a nice job by Will Perdue on the block, and Aguirre pushed off.
Mark's got a huge grin about it all. Every time Chicago has gone over the 100 mark against Detroit, they've won. That's twice before in the playoffs. Every time the Pistons have given up 100 in the playoffs in 1990, they've lost. That's 3 times.
We talked at the top of the show about the Pistons, if Game 7 was necessary, thinking about their lone loss in 2 years of playoff history at Auburn Hills was against the Bulls. And these Bulls are quite capable of going up there and taking one, sneaking one out of there.
That one victory was in the first game of last year's Eastern Conference Finals in Detroit. Chicago won that, split the series up there, wound up losing the series 4-2 on the first Friday night in June in 1989. Such will not be the case in 1990. We're going to 7. 90 seconds to go. Henderson heads for the three-point line in the corner. Grant. And a standing ovation for the Chicago Bulls. Shooting coaching yesterday from Brendan Malone. He had a 5 for 17 night in Chicago on Friday night. the pass inside the court. Isaiah. It's a 3-on-4. Sia Thomas finds Edwards. Short. Nice job of blocking the shot by Horace Grant. Joe Dumars, Scottie Pippen guards him. Jordan. Bill Lambier.
Well, certainly it's Lambier and James Edwards that the Pistons want to get off to a good start. It's their inside play that's going to make it a lot easier for the three guards of Detroit. It's Vinnie Johnson, Joe Dumars, and Isaiah Thomas.
Now they keep Hodges down on the right side. Pippen takes it over left and gets it into Bill Cartwright. Backs in on James Edwards, throws an elbow, and the foul will be called on James Edwards. His first team first.
And of course, recognizing that the strength of the Pistons game relies on the inside game. The Bulls come down and they try to attack it as much as they can. Occupy Edwards and Lambier.
Bill Jackson said yesterday, in conversation with us, that the Bulls might be able to win today with 95 points, but they won't win with 85.
And they certainly won't win without some inside help. Bill Cartwright with a nice job on the baseline. He's got to get off to a good start.
That ties it up at 2-2. Isaiah Thomas comes out to get the pass from Dumars. Greg Hodges. Runs it. Thomas hides in. Too strong. Kick the short. Dennis Rodman gets two. And it's a 4-2 Detroit lead. Now Jordan will throw the left side. Back it comes to Scottie Pippen. Hodges with 4 for 4 from three-point range, breaking out of a big slump on Friday night in the win. He is a streak shooter. Takes it right at Lambier. Offensive foul.
We're recognizing, Vern, what happened in Game 6. Isaiah Thomas does a nice job of running at Craig Hodges. He's a streak shooter, but he likes to stand still on his jump shot. Can't put it on the floor very well, particularly going to his left, and we saw what happened.
We played 2 minutes. It's a 4-2 Detroit lead. Foul on Bill Cartwright.
We take a look at this replay. James Edwards told me yesterday he was very concerned about the Bulls fronting him, but Cartwright decides to play behind him. James said he wasn't going to fight them in the post, but he used his body very well that time. Billy Cartwright cannot play James Edwards from behind. He's going to have to get a lot of help if he's going to play behind him.
Dumars. Isaiah Thomas. That. Saw him yesterday for a half an hour after practice ended, taking coaching from Brendan Malone.
Well, certainly in Game 6, you could see that he was having trouble getting set. He never got into his rhythm. And more importantly, he was very afraid of what was going on behind him. He took his focus off the shooting.
But the problem was on his follow-through, pointing his finger at the basket. Here's Cartwright and Jordan off the bench. Jumper. No. Cartwright. Back to Pippen in the corner. Cartwright was open. Edwards comes over to get on him. Now Greg Hodges. Horace Grant.
Well, of course, both teams are tight. You can see it in the shooting, missing badly. But somewhere down the line, the emotion has to run off. And again, back to fundamental basketball.
Dumar's been an air ball. It's still 4-2, and we play 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Did you expect to see this kind of tightness?
Well, certainly Game 7 always brings that out. But it has to wear off.
Here's Dumars in transition. No. Scottie Pippen brings it up the other direction.
Well, we talked about the dirty work, and it's the defense.
Hodges no good. Long rebound to Isaiah Thomas. Now the pace of the game picked up considerably. Dumars.
Well, we talk about a breakthrough in transition with Joe Dumars. Broken floor allows him to find lanes to the basket. And that's what Detroit needs to kind of raise the emotion level.
22nd timeout has been called by Chicago. Bill Jackson gathers his troops around, gives us a chance, Lamb, to talk about what difference Craig Hodges' presence in the game means in the absence of John Paxson?
Well, certainly they're going to have to, and I'm talking about the Bulls, they're going to have to find ways to get Michael Jordan open. The loss of Jim Paxson brings Michael Jordan to the point, the top of the floor. Then there's no weak side help for Pistons, so they can't double team him unless they go out to the middle of the floor. Then Jordan should be able to find some of his teammates. But it makes a world of difference offensively for him, Michael Jordan, because it opens up the floor.
There's Craig Hodges, 7 of 9 from the field. 19 points. He was 4 of 4 on three-point field goals, and before the game, he had been 2 of 12 three-point effort. Ed Neely has come in now. He played only 1 minute in Game 6, so Ed Neely makes an appearance in the ball game. He replaces Scottie Pippen. What does that mean?
Well, the insertion of Ed Neely kind of emphasizes the kind of play that's going on inside, particularly the rebounding aspect. Neely clears the place out. He's also a smart passer. He's a good conduit for your offense to get the ball to other people. Scottie Pippen will get a rest because he's going to be needed somewhere down here for offense.
Michael Jordan cuts the margin to 3, 7-4 during the 8-minute mark, quarter number 1. Back it comes to Lambeer. 3, no. Hodges. Neely had gotten loose down at the other end, but the Bulls will slow it up. Michael Jordan. And it's a 7-6 ball game.
Well, the Pistons are getting the shots that they want. They're moving the ball. A nice job on Lambeer the last trip down, but they're going to have to find a way again to get to the basket. That's their game.
Dumars drives by Jordan, puts up the underhand shot, and it goes right in the hands of James Edwards out to Craig Hodges. Lambeer and Thomas hurry back. Hodges spots up for 3. No. Jackson said, I don't have any doubt that he can come back and have another hot streak today. So far, it hasn't been there. Now, Edwards.
Bill Cartwright's not guard James Edwards from behind. Edwards has too quick a lateral movement and nice moves inside. Cartwright's going to have to get help.
Under 7 minutes, Jordan for 3. Well, they've taken the perimeter shot for the most part. Bulls trail by 9-6. Isaiah Thomas trying to get off the mark. He was 5 of 21 in the first 2 games played here. Had his best games on the road in Chicago until the other night. Here's Edwards again. And Grant, who had 14 rebounds in the win by the Bulls. Friday night grabs that one.
The hard play has certainly been a factor on the board, but more importantly, when he was matched up against Bill Lambeer, they liked that matchup. Here he's got Dennis Rodman on him.
Cartwright, jump hook. Kicked out to Isaiah Thomas. 2-on-2 as Hodges gets back. Thomas at Jordan. Offensive foul. Earl Strong calls Isaiah Thomas with the foul. Time has been called. Detroit up by 3. That last foul, Lenny.
Well, at the top of the telecast, we spoke of players knowing that they have to do the dirty work, tight defense, that no one is exempt. Michael Jordan, of all people, great defense inside. Good position. He was set. An excellent call. Isaiah Thomas struggling. He wants to get to the basket because his jump shot's not working, but Michael Jordan beats him to the spot.
Michael Jordan injured the outside of his right wrist near the on the little finger side when he put his wrist on Isaiah Thomas's heel, falling down late in the game. He did not practice yesterday, but no swelling, and he's just fine. Now Hodges at the point this time. Jordan works the baseline. Hodges inside to Bill Cartwright. Kicks it back out to Craig Hodges. There's Hodges' first 2 of the game.
And perfect pass outside in a standstill position. That's the way Craig Hodges likes to shoot.
9-8 Detroit. 5:45 to go, quarter number 1. Pistons are 16-1 in the playoffs in this building in the last 2 years. The one loss, Chicago beat them in game 1 a year ago. Dumars has it roll off the rim. Now Chicago can take the lead. Horace Grant. Dennis Rodman picks up the foul. His first, Ed Neely will inbound.
Pistons are giving a very easy post position inside.
Rebound by Grant. That's another one. Hodges for three. Yes. So he has hit his last 2 baskets now.
Second chance opportunities off the board that time, giving the Bulls an opportunity to go back to their basic game, which is to penetrate and get the ball out to their standstill jumpers if nothing's there.
Chicago was 70% of its three-pointers the other night. They're on a 9-2 run right now and have the lead. The triple team on Edwards brings the dish to Dumars and the foul on Ed Neely.
Well, certainly the Bulls were aware that Bill Cartwright needs plenty of help. But on the other side of it, a great job by James Edwards to take the double and triple team, not to panic and find the open man. As we see here, with the nice pass inside, he turned and faced the baskets many times. Big guys inside who are double and triple, they get back to the basket, they never see the cover.
The leading Pistons scorer, 22 points per game. Of course, I think remember the exemplary performance he had last year in the finals with a 27-point average and the MVP trophy. We're tied at 11, 4:40 remaining, first quarter. Portland Trail Blazers watching out west to see who their opponent will be in the NBA Finals. Pick and roll, Ed Neely tapped away by Dennis Rodman. Played the passing lane perfectly and draws the foul from Greg Hodges. What a nice play by the MVP Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, you certainly can't say enough about Dennis Rodman. The strengths that he has are his anticipation abilities. Right there, he was still aware of where the ball was and got into the passing lane. Never took his eye off the ball and still maintained contact with his man.
Rodman playing with that injured left ankle, injured in game 4. The game in which he had 20 points and 20 rebounds. Here's Dumars, nice pump fake, has to adjust the ball. Gets it to James Edwards, and the shot is not there. Now it's a little volleyball, and Edwards gets it. Pistons back on top by 2, 3:56 to go. Jordan. Dumars. Bill Laimbeer with a grimace.
Vast difference between this play and the play before. Dumars takes away the lane from Jordan. And what happens on the ensuing pass, as Dumars stays with Michael Jordan, is that Bill Laimbeer never beat his man to the ball.
Now Phil Jackson's going to change the nature of his lineup. Brings Pippen back in. Craig Hodges goes out, so Ed Neely stays in, and Jordan will go to the point guard full time. Here's Cartwright. Nope. Laimbeer rebound. Finds Dumars. It's 3-on-2. Neely hustles back. Rodman loses the ball. That is the second Detroit turnover.
Michael Jordan again figures prominently in the defense back against the break.
Give and go, and the ball is kept, and the shot is made by Horace Grant.
But with this lineup, the Bulls have offensively, they have a big backcourt, and they're able to see over the smaller guards and able to dump the ball down inside, particularly with the matchup of Grant and Laimbeer.
Dumars. Nice move. Shot short. Detroit not hitting all that well. They are 5 of 17 from the field now. They were 6 of 22 in that pivotal quarter number 3 on Friday night. Jordan with the throw, but he'll shoot. Second foul called on James Edwards. That's going to send Michael Jordan to the line. But first, the timeout has been called.
To make itself available for him, so when you get to the fourth quarter in a tight situation, he's going to be the focus of the Pistons defense. He'll have confidence in dumping it off to his teammates who are now in the game offensively.
This is the 68th time that Michael Jordan has been to the free throw line in this series. Well, the winner of this game takes on the Portland Trail Blazers. Game 1 of the NBA Finals Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. We can't tell you yet where that game will be played. If Detroit wins, it will be here. If Chicago wins, it will be in Portland. Here's Vinnie Johnson. Rodman and Laimbeer open under the basket. Good to see. 5 of 18 shooting the ball now for the Detroit Pistons. Neither team has shot that well throughout this series. It's been a defensively oriented series. And here's Neely on the terrific pass.
And that's what I'm talking about. Michael Jordan as the focus of the Pistons defense. Now feels comfortable giving the ball up to his teammates because they've shown a willingness to take it to the basket.
Ball. Keep in mind that the substitution that Phil Jackson made a while ago, he pulled Hodges out, Pippen back in, so a much taller lineup, and Ed Neely stayed in the lineup. So it's King, Pippen, Grant, Jordan, and Neely right now. 6 for 3. Isaiah Thomas is 0 for 3. Vinny Johnson with a rebound. He was 0 for 10 in Game 6. Johnson does. Trap on the baseline. Back it comes to Lambeer. No basket, but Isaiah Thomas will shoot free throws.
Well, you take a look at the full lineup, Vernon, you recognize that the 3 frontline players, Stacey King, Horace Grant, and Ed Neely, are bangers, they're rebounders, but they're not as quick as the players for the Pistons at this time. And many times people believe that it's only size that gives you an advantage rebounding, but more so is quickness, whoever gets to the ball first. And this time the Pistons have gotten a couple of second chance opportunities that have put some people on the line. That's where they've had an advantage throughout the series.
DJ Armstrong is going to give Michael Jordan a rest. That's coming before the quarter break. So Jordan sits down with the Bulls up by